Hey T Squad, welcome back to Spilling Teas. Today I'm making some cartoon themed birthday shirts for a little one, and I thought, what better time to test out two printable vinyls side by side? We're putting Neenah 3G Jet Opaque up against Siser EasyColor DTV to see which one really shines on kids' shirts or shirts in general. Stick around because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly which vinyl I'd use again. Disclaimer: some images shown are for demonstration purposes only and are not for resale. Alright, now that we've got that out the way, let's jump into the design process. I'm starting with Etsy to grab some creative images, then we'll move everything over into Cricut Design Space so I can customize these shirts with the birthday boy's name. I completed the purchase with my phone so I can download the images there instead of my laptop. Now I'll connect my phone to my laptop and upload the designs into Design Space. Kids love personalized items, so I'm going to add his name on each one. When someone sees their name, initials, or personal design on an item, it reinforces their sense of individuality. It becomes a statement piece, helping them define, express, and showcase their personality and identity to the world. I don't design kids' shirts that often, so I'll be freestyling the captions. Since I don't know much about cartoons, I went to my boyfriend, Chat G, for some help. I was about to scroll through Design Space for fonts, but I never tried out the website, The Font, and thought this would be a good time to get some new creative ideas. Thank God the search didn't take long. This font, Memsmark, is exactly what I had envisioned. If you never uploaded a font into Design Space, pay close attention to these steps so you'll know how it's done. It may differ on different devices though, so keep that in mind. But once you find your font, click download. Select and remember where you are downloading it to. I'm going to download this to my desktop and keep the file name the same as the font. Now click Save. Then go to your file folder and click on it. Find the font you just downloaded and right-click on it. Click Open With, then click 7-Zip File Manager. You should see the name of the font. Click on it one time to highlight it. Then on your toolbar, you'll see Extract All. Click on that. Next, hit the Extract button. Now, double-click on it and you should see this. Multiple sentences written in the font you just downloaded. At the top, click on Install. Rewind this if you have to if you missed some steps. Feel free to go to your settings and slow down the speed of the video. Now switch over to Design Space and save your design before you close out of it. We need to close completely out of Design Space so that it can install properly. Once you close Design Space, go back in and open it back up. Go back to the canvas you were working on and on the left panel, click Text. Once the text box comes up, go to the top and click on Font. Then click on System in the panel at the top on the left. In the search bar, type in the name of the font. It should come up, and now you will be able to change your text using the new font. Okay, I'm going to switch up the font and finish writing the captions for the shirts, one at a time. Also, I went back to the font to get another font for one of the other shirts. It's called Adventure. The second shirt looked like it needed a little more added to it, so I grabbed some dog paws, a hashtag, and a siren, all located in Design Space. Now I'm ready for the third image. After designing this to my liking, I will attach, flatten, and align all the elements to prepare them for a test, print, and cut. I will make the images small enough so that all three will fit onto one sheet of paper. I intend to keep the bleed setting activated to ensure the ink extends to the image's border, but I'll turn it off for the test print. We will print this in right reading format, so do not mirror your image when using this vinyl. Here is the 3G Jet Opaque vinyl that I bought many years ago, and I never used it. I honestly forgot I had it. I already worked with Siser DTV before, so when I found this, I thought I would give it a try. So far, the images look nice and vibrant. I love how the colors turned out. Now let's make sure it cuts correctly. I'm guessing I will need some transfer paper to be able to keep the yellow above the siren intact with the design. So I'll grab my TTD Easy Mask from Siser. This is why you should do a test, print, and cut first. I didn't flatten Ani's name, the siren, or the spider on the character's hand. Therefore, the cutting machine is cutting the outline of the images. That is not what I wanted. I will have to go back, highlight all the images I want to cut together as one image, and make sure it is attached and flattened for the final cut. This paper is pretty thick, so when peeling off the excess vinyl, it is easier to bend the paper back from the bottom of the design so that you will be able to lift the vinyl and put your finger under there to grab the throwaway vinyl. When I tried to peel the backing from the design, it didn't want to stick to Siser's mask. This mask may only work with Siser's EasyColor DTV, which is direct to vinyl. This is what made me curious to compare the two vinyls. Therefore, toward the end of the video, I will print the designs using Siser's EasyColor DTV and compare it to this 3G Opaque vinyl to determine which one I prefer. I'll do the test press on a 100% cotton Gildan t-shirt. For the record, that is my #1 go-to for my shirts. I'll remove the lint and press for 5 seconds to remove any moisture. For this vinyl, the temperature needs to be 350 degrees, medium to heavy pressure, and pressed for 30 seconds. It is a cold peel, but I forgot that part. For maximum softness and durability, they recommend you stretch the transfer immediately after it is applied and allow 24 hours after application before washing the item. They claim the finished product is very soft with excellent stretchability. It is suitable for 100% cotton, 100% polyester and polycotton blend, and synthetic fabrics. You can apply this to t-shirts, sweatshirts, team shirts, mouse pads, puzzles, leather goods, and other hard surfaces. It suggests that it is also good for branding and promotional items. It is best applied using a commercial heat press, otherwise ironing will limit wash durability. I said wash, I ain't mean to say that. Wash durability. They suggest while it is still warm to gently stretch the fabric to enhance softness. Then cover and repress with parchment paper and press again for 10 seconds to improve wash resistance. Now, what I just said are the correct instructions for this vinyl. I forgot I already had the notes in my phone, so what you see me doing are instructions from Google. This vinyl does feel very light, and so far I'm really liking it. I decided to press another one of the test pieces that I messed up on. I should have made sure to cover it with parchment paper, even though I have this press cover on the upper platen, which is good for regular HTV in my opinion, but not to use directly on printed vinyl with parchment paper. For the other test prints, I will add them to the final shirts since nothing was wrong with them. Again, this vinyl feels good to the touch, and now I will proceed to stretch and see how durable it is. This vinyl is very strong, and I put some muscle in it as I was stretching. It did not crack, and as I released it from the stretch, the images and colors went back into place without ever looking stretched. The image colors turned out beautiful. It definitely delivered on that. Now that I corrected my cutting mistakes in Design Space and I'm ready for the final cut, I'll go ahead and measure out how large I want the designs to be on the shirts. I used a piece of sticker paper to write down the measurements on each shirt so I would not forget. And speaking of forget, don't you forget to stick around to the end to see me compare it with Siser's EasyColor DTV so you can get my opinion on which one I like the best. After sizing everything up, I'll head over to Design Space, print then cut all the vinyl pieces, including the regular heat transfer vinyl, HTV this time. One of the things I did different when it comes to sizing on my design is, say for instance, I measured the design out to be an 8x7. Instead of typing in 8 for the width and 7 inches in height, I dragged the bottom right corner of the design while it was all grouped together to the closest inch to 8 and let Design Space give me the automatic height measurement. I did this to test it out because it has been some times where I would put in what I thought would look right and it might have came out looking too tall or distorted the image. So we'll see how that goes. Now let's make it and check the cutting boards. Remember, no mirroring with this Neenah 3G Jet transfer paper. I am only going to mirror the words that I added to be cut with Siser's EasyColor DTV, which is my preferred vinyl, by the way. For small vinyl projects like this, I often find that I have pre-cut scrap pieces of the same color. Therefore, I typically mirror the heat transfer vinyl design first, then arrange it to ensure my scrap vinyl pieces adequately covers the letters for cutting. After all of my boards are cut, I start with number 1, and I'll go ahead and send that to my printer. This is the time I will turn on the bleed tab so the ink prints to the edge of the image. Now I'll peel my design from its backing. I used a little more pressure on this sheet. As you can see, the surrounding backing peeled right up. I turned it up to Iron On Plus. For the test cut in the first images, I had it on Iron On. I suggest setting it to Iron On because trying to peel the backing off of this with nothing else to grab underneath it to help peel the design from the backing was quite tedious. When it came to this image, I was hoping that since the siren lights are bigger now, the design would be easier to grab with the TTD mask, but it wasn't, so I ended up having to cut it with HTV vinyl to make it work. Thank God for that little metal spatula thingy. It helped me to get in between the vinyl and the backing so that I can peel it off. As you see here, this is where I tried my best to keep the small printable vinyl together with this design, trying to save myself some time, but it would not let me be great. Now we can get these letters weeded out and placed onto the shirt for pressing. To make sure that I am weeding it correctly, I'll open up Design Space on my phone and periodically look at the designs because it is so easy to forget one stupid triangle lodged between letters that your eyes can easily miss. Time to give this vinyl its new home. I will press the shirt and get my crease down the middle so that I can quickly align my vinyl. One shirt down, 2 more to go. The one thing I didn't do was stretch out the printable vinyl while it was warm. Again, this was because I was going off of Google's instructions. But remember, stretching the design while it's warm will enhance its softness with this 3G opaque vinyl. You are supposed to let the garment cool completely before removing the parchment paper to ensure proper adhesion. So I would probably stretch it after the second sealer press. If you ever misplace your instructions, I suggest going to the website you purchased your vinyl from and get the instructions from there, not Google. Two shirts down, one more to go. Isn't that just lovely? Now it's time for me to apply the design on the back of this shirt. Before doing so, I will insert a heat-resistant Teflon sheet inside of the shirt to protect the design on the front. Finally, we arrive at the last t-shirt where I will be layering two different colors of blue using Siser EasyColor vinyl. Also, make sure you're not rushing while designing any project. This is where I almost made a mistake and laid down the wrong colored vinyl. As you can see, the top vinyl is darker than the lower vinyl. Thank God I'm very detailed and was trying to get the words placed exactly how it was in Design Space, because that is what alarmed me that one of my vinyl colors was off. I was knee deep into getting it right, so tough that I thought I pressed it on the shirt already and screamed, "No!" Luckily, I paused for a minute and my brain had time to catch up with the process. This was my layering vinyl moment that almost went wrong. Now I'm going to place those test pieces that came out good on the sleeve and on the back of one of the shirts. Then we'll see how nice they came out. You know I don't like to waste any vinyl. The design itself came out good. I'm not really sure what happened to the last two letters on the name. I could have mistakenly scraped it with the scraper when applying it to the cutting board. The blue shirt came out as expected. I have no issues with that one. I have no issues with the white shirt either. I was starting to put the design on a darker colored shirt so that the silver letters could pop, but it looked cute on top of the white as well, so I just left it. Neenah says the opaque backing ensures rich colors and high opacity prints, preventing the fabric color from affecting the design. In my opinion, this did not give that on this black 100% Gildan cotton t-shirt, but the colors definitely look awesome on the blue and the white shirts. Now it's time for the real test. I will print out 3 of the same designs onto this Siser EasyColor DTV direct-to-vinyl transfer paper and compare it against Neenah's DTV. Here is my pre-cut 8x11 size Siser vinyl. I'll take it over to the printer now. I will not have the bleed tab on and will cut it on just the regular iron-on setting. When I first used this Siser vinyl paper, I mistakenly printed on the backing. It's confusing at first, but just know that the side you print on is white and the backing is a light gray shade. Hopefully you can see it. For my printer, I have to lay the print side face down. The colors came out very nice. Here is a side-by-side comparison. Neenah is on the left and Siser is on the right. My arm was in the way, causing it to shadow over the Neenah, so you'll get a better view after I press them onto the shirt when they are laying side by side. When laying the Siser down on the cutting board, I made sure to put a piece of parchment paper on top so that I wouldn't scrape any of the ink off. Once again, I find it easier to weed by bending at the end of the design and using my weeding tool to pull up the throwaway vinyl. This paper was easy to slide off, a lot easier than the Neenah. I'm going to use my scraper to pull up one of the images just to see how the image performs with just parchment paper on top and not the transfer paper. I noticed the tiny yellow vinyl above the siren came off when I peeled away the throwaway vinyl, but I'm going to get it and put it back in place because I want to see if the TTD mask picks it up. Remember, the Neenah would not stick to Siser's transfer paper, not these yellow things anyway, and the design did adhere, but not too well. I looked to see if they had their own transfer paper, but I didn't see anything with the Neenah brand. However, Amazon recommended this transfer paper for the Neenah 3G Jet Opaque vinyl. Now that I have the yellow shining pieces to the siren in place, I'll go ahead and apply Siser's transfer paper. And looky here, the Siser transfer paper picked up those tiny cuts with no problem. Definitely add this to your collection if you decide to buy this Siser's printable vinyl. Alright now Siser, I see you. Now it's time to prepare the garments. Siser recommends pressing this vinyl at 310 degrees for 15 seconds. It does not mention anything about a second press. but it does recommend that you peel this warm. I'll grab the same shirt I used for the Neenah vinyl and apply the Siser vinyl right above it. Since I wasn't too sure about that yellow star on the black shirt, I'm going to test press that one onto a black shirt. The lint was already removed from this shirt, so I'll just remove any moisture that may have set in while it sat. Remember, the picture with Ani on it has the transfer paper on top and the one to the right doesn't. I'll let it cool off slightly because this is a warm peel. So far, to me, the Siser colors to the left, the red and the blue, look better and brighter. The images to my right, Siser looks just a hair better. I had to look at this for a while to come to this conclusion with these colors. It honestly doesn't look too much different except when you look at the red on the design. The colors on the second images on the right are very similar. The Siser vinyl definitely feels smoother than the Neenah, and since I stretched the Neenah to California and back, I'm going to try the stretch test on the Siser. I was surprised to see that when stretched, you couldn't see any white in between the shirt fibers like we did with Neenah, but it still did not distort the color on either of the vinyls when stretched. Even though Siser's instructions didn't mention anything about a second press, I'm going to press it a second time just like we did Neenah to be fair. Plus I want to see if a second press will take away from Siser's bright colors. Both vinyls passed the stretch and second press test. Both of the colors appear the same as they were before the stretch. Having examined both images more closely, I would like to mention that while both possess a smooth quality, the Neenah paper seemed to have a more textured feel to it. I slid my hand inside of the shirt to see how it feels underneath. They both feel light, but Neenah felt more papery. Now I'll get the black Gildan tee for the yellow image and repeat the process. I must say, this looks like a job well done. Even after stretching, the color stayed and I could not see through this vinyl at all. I'll go ahead and press it a second time. This looks really amazing. The Siser on the black shirt passed all the tests. Now let's take a look at all the pieces together. Here is the final black shirt that was pressed with Neenah. Don't pay attention to the letters in Ani's name. I believe I messed that up myself. And I know I did on the gray shirt for sure, because I missed flattening the letters. Therefore, the cutter began to cut those letters out. But as you can see, Neenah's vinyl actually looks better on lighter garments compared to the black shirt. Again, let's take a final look at the images on the right under more lighting. You really can't tell the difference. I must say that both of these colors on this lighter t-shirt looks very good. Now let's examine both of the yellow images. The shirt on the right is Neenah. You can definitely see the fabric through this vinyl with this yellow color. Here's the Siser image. The only black I see are the letters. I am not seeing any of the black fabric coming through the yellow image. I actually could have saved some ink and cut Sheriff Ani out of the star. So remember that whenever you are designing and your words match the color of your shirt. So I give Siser's DTV 10 stars on a scale from 1 to 5. This vinyl checked all the boxes and did not disappoint on anything, from the weeding to pressing, then stretching, and the second press. The colors never distorted and stayed bright. Neenah gets 3 stars. This is not a bad vinyl at all though. I gave it 3 stars because it was a little more difficult to weed out. I couldn't pick it up with the transfer paper that I had, and the brighter color did not do well on a black shirt at all with the 2 images. However, it did look good on the lighter gray shirt, where the one image on the left was slightly 1 shade under Siser's brightness and barely noticeable on the images to the right. It also did great on the stretch test, but it wasn't as smooth as Siser's vinyl. The color did not distort, but it did feel slightly papery inside the shirt. So if I had to use this vinyl, it would only be for light garments. I would not use it for any dark colored garments at all. And that's a wrap, T-Squad. I really hope this side-by-side test of Neenah 3G Jet Opaque and Siser EasyColor DTV gave you some clarity for your own projects. Both had their strengths, but you know I had to give my honest opinion. If this video was helpful, don't forget to hit that like button, drop a comment, and tap that notification bell so you don't miss future tutorials. See you in the next video. Much love.